Hey Aquarius, welcome to your yearly 2019 Sidereal Astrology forecast. All right, so this year we have an emphasis on two key areas for you. One is going to be on your 10th house of career and productive life and public life, where you have expansive Jupiter. So great year for expanding your worldview and your perspective of your productive life and career and public life. And this can maybe create some opportunities or maybe just a bit of inspiration that can help move this area forward for you. Now, along with this, we do have Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node in your 11th house. So really good year for continuing to take slowly and steadily your future aspirations and also work within your limitations when it comes to your groups, network circles, or things that you're a part of that are greater than yourself. And so with this work, there's going to be a lot of transformation, more than likely, some empowerment, and maybe releasing some patterns here that can help free up and transform this area. Now, we do have Uranus going into Aries here, which is your third house, around April. So for the next 5 years, April onwards, is going to be really good for trying new things involving learning. Some of you learning some new things, new ways of communicating, new things in your life involving communication that can be exciting or different. Some of you business and trade. So these practical things in life can be very spontaneous, very exciting for you moving forward. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, Aquarius, here is your chart for 2019. Now, we are using the outer planets here, as you can see. So this is for a general look at the year. If you do want a more specific look at what's going on each week or month, do watch the daily videos that I do where we look at all of the planets. Now, you'll also notice, especially if you're new to the channel, that we're using the different sizes of the constellations here. So this is called True Sidereal Astrology, and it does change the signs by quite a bit from mainstream astrology. So definitely check out the link down below if you're new. And there's also a birth chart calculator down there so that you can make sure that you are watching this for the right sign. You want to make sure that you do have your sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius in your sidereal chart for this video. All right, so Aquarius, let's have a look at January, because things really do kick off the year there that month. One is that we have a lot of eclipses in January, well, eclipse season, and then we have the only two aspects that we have in the year starting in January. So looking first at the eclipse seasons, we do have the solar eclipse in your 11th house. So January 5th, solar eclipse here, good time to sit with the energies regarding your future aspirations, and also things involving any groups or community things you're involved with, because there's likely going to be some releasing taking place here. Now, the releasing is going to be internal, and so it's good to see if, is to do this consciously. And so to see if there are any patterns you may have, default patterns regarding your aspirations, regarding community stuff that you want to be conscious of, because you may decide some of these things are no longer serving you, and you're releasing them. And that releasing can create more freedom in your life and more balance in this area. So definitely a new beginning involving that releasing that could really help empower you when it comes to these aspirations and or group related things. Now, on January 21st, we do have the lunar eclipse in your 6th house here, which will be really finalizing a lot of whatever you've been developing this past roughly year regarding your work or routine or health. There's been new things involving this area, new developments. This could be a finalization with a lot of these things. So great to maybe tie up some of these loose ends with it, do some final integration with it, as the North Node will then be finishing Cancer. Now, the North Node will leave Cancer in April, so that also might be the time of actual completion with it, but certainly January with the lunar eclipse there. Now, in April, once the North Node does shift into Gemini, this is your 5th house, and you'll notice moving forward, April onward, that there's likely some new beginnings involving your self-expression. So it'll be a really good time for exploring this area and doing new and different things with it. Also discovering maybe new passions of yours as well, whatever might be a passion for you. So you'll probably notice this strongest once we get to July, because at the very beginning of July, July 2nd, we have the solar eclipse in the 5th house, the first time here. So this is going to be a great time of, again, starting something new involving your passions. What are you passionate about? Cultivating these things. What excites you? What are maybe some creative things? Maybe what are some forms of self-expression? Right? Great time to set some new intentions with this. And you're going to notice that a lot of this energy that you can put into your self-expression and your passions is really going to help balance out whatever this more serious or deeper stuff is involving your community or friends, or even some of these future aspirations. Because our communities and our future aspirations need us to be doing what we're passionate about, need us to be expressing ourselves and having fun. And so a lot of this development's likely going to be, particularly in July, once the North Node goes into that 5th. All right, now regarding the lunar eclipse, which will be July 16th in your 11th, will be if there was anything earlier in the year, in January, that did start, that we were talking about regarding some sort of new path of releasing or bringing more balance back to these aspirations or to these things that are greater than yourself, there's likely going to be a completion and some sort of culmination with this July 16th. So great time at that time to do a status check with it. How's it going? You know, it's kind of the halfway point, you could think of it. How are things going? Do a status check with it. You may even notice that, particularly the first half of the year, but maybe in July in particular, are there maybe some self-limitations that you may want to be releasing? Because it is a really important year for, again, taking the patient, slow and steady approach to these aspirations and to your network circles. But there may also be some self-limitations there that you might become aware of, maybe in July, that you'll be releasing. Also, maybe even some fears. You know, maybe releasing some of those or some inhibitions that can also, again, what is ultimately all this is about transforming the area and empowering yourself so you can have greater connection and greater balance when it comes to your future aspiring side and also your sort of social side of wanting to be a part of things larger than yourself. All right, so those are the eclipses. Now, typically we wouldn't look at another set of eclipses, but since the eclipse season is happening right at the beginning and end of the years, we are going to have a solar eclipse at the very end of the year on December 26th. And this is, of course, going to be in the same area of your 11th. Now, the best way of looking at this is that what you'll likely notice in November and December, starting in November, is that Jupiter comes into your 11th. And so where things are throughout most of the year more about the sort of working within your limitations and releasing patterns and freeing up the area, Jupiter comes in here inspiring you maybe some new inspirations, opening your horizons, maybe even some opportunities for some further cultivation of your network circles. And so whatever it is, at the very end of the year, December 26th, there'll likely be a new beginning here involving this newfound sense of spirit or newfound sense of inspiration regarding the area, moving you into 2020. Okay? So let's go ahead and back up to January when we have the aspects starting, because again, two of the aspects that we have throughout the whole year just happen to be starting in January. And so one is Jupiter squaring up to Neptune, and the other one is Saturn sextiling Neptune. So it actually places a lot of emphasis on Neptune, who's in your sign, in your first house. And now he's been there for the past 10 years. So if you felt like the past 10 years it's been a lot of maybe soul searching, or you've been discovering more of your deeper self, not so much the surface level of the ego and stuff like that. Maybe there's been uncertainty about that stuff because it's really been about connecting to your beingness and connecting to that side of yourself and that side of your identity, if you want to call it that. And through that, having more ebb and flow in life. And so really great year for concretizing this, for building this, because Jupiter squared to Neptune, collectively we may feel like we have maybe some dreams and aspirations. For you, it might be involving your career, work, or again, involving some of these things involving yourself, or just dreams in general, your spiritual self. But we want to really work with it constructively with the square. What are some intentions you can set this year that is really going to ground your dreams, ground your ideals, and ground yourself spiritually? And I think a really good area of doing that is going to be on your career and productive life. Jupiter helping expand your worldview about your career, public life, not only can create some opportunities there, but again, it can really help concretize and ground some of these dreams or ideals you may have, or again, your spiritual beingness that is really going through this development with Neptune in your sign. Now, the other side to it, which is Saturn sextiling Neptune, is just this bit of opening that as you continue to do the work with your aspiring side and with your network circles, that's also going to directly contribute to your well-being, spiritual well-being with Neptune in your sign. And again, you may even just notice a bit of constructive flow, how things kind of happen in divine timing. There's just a lot of support for that more receptive approach to life that's really supporting the area of self and of who you are. Again, that beingness though, also supporting that career and productive life, as well as those network circles and future hopes and wishes and aspirations. Now, the last important thing to talk about is going to be Uranus going into Aries. And this is your third house. So this is going to be in April. And what you'll likely notice on one front, that is, if over the past 10 years, if you noticed a lot of ups and downs or unexpected things involving either finance or your resources or your sense of self-worth, this all kind of finalizes in April, where you have this final completion of this sense of self-worth, being more free, more true to you, and even the financial material life being a little bit more liberating for you. So that's the finalization of the second. But where Uranus is going is into the third for about the next 5 years. And this is going to be a development of learning new and different things, usually with this. Really getting into your practical side, being willing to learn, gaining new information, new insights. Some of you getting into science or technology or innovative things that can be mentally stimulating or enjoyable for you. Other things too, business and trade for others, maybe unique and different things there, or communication as well can be a bit exciting and different. Maybe meeting new people in your community or your network circles, or with your peers, things like this. So anything that does involve learning new things, thinking about things in new ways, communicating in new ways, really, really great way of working with this Uranus in the third house. All right, so Aquarius, have a fantastic 2019. Thank you for watching. Now on the page is a 20% discount if you want a personal look for the year. So do check that out if you want that personal look. But thank you so much for all of your likes, comments, and shares with these videos. Really means a lot. And I will see you all next time for the daily forecast. Take care.